This is Abdi Duale, a 21 years old British Somali who's standing for local elections for Ealing Common Ward in London Borough of Ealing. He's a candidate for the Labour Party, one of the youngest to run for local elections. Majority of the British Somalis live in the capital, but a lot of them do reside in London boroughs of Tower Hamlet, Newham, Ealing, Camden and Lambeth.
I'm born in Ealing, bred in Ealing. I've lived in Ealing all my life, went to school in Ealing and currently I study in Ealing as well. So my parents are obviously Somali refugees, came to the country in the 90s. My dad was a factory worker and my mother was a cleaner. They were earning £1.50 an hour, my mum was earning £1.20 an hour, and it was the Labour government that came in 1997 that actually brought in the minimum wage that changed their lives. And that's the sort of values that drove me to the Labour Party and the reason why I joined the Labour Party in 2015. You know, those values of creating a better society for people, you know, society for the many and not the few. And that's what I'm standing for the party now. So lucky enough to be the youngest Labour Party candidate as well in the whole borough of Ealing, and one of the youngest across the country as well. So it's a privilege, but there's a great responsibility on my shoulders to make sure that I'm up to the job and can do it effectively. This is Rupa, the local MP.
Hello. Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, how are you?
Good. This is Hanan.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, fine.
Good.
Good
Thanks for coming.
If you could just tell us what has sparked your interest in politics.
So specifically, it's probably housing, because obviously I'm over 21 and you know, renting's all right. I still have the parents, but I'm going to be moving out soon.
Right.
So like renting's going to be like one thing, but I know that I might not be able to ever like own a home,
right.
And it's a matter of the people in the chamber a lot of the time probably own their own homes or you know live comfortable lives, but the people that should be making those changes and those decisions for the younger generation
right.
is the younger generation, and that's sort of what inspired me to get involved.
Okay, so a lot of people could argue that you are young, inexperienced,
True.
And you should be focusing on your education.
Very.
You're in your last year of university,
yes.
And you're 21 years old.
Yes.
So what kind of response do you have for those kind of people?
Well, my response is, I mean, I ran a whole campaign during the general election,
right.
Alongside other people, but I was one of the campaign organisers for Rupa in the second most marginal seat for the Labour Party across the country.
Right.
We turned her majority from 274 to 14,000. That was a big responsibility. People said to me I was young then, I was only 20 years old when I did that, but I proved them wrong, and I want to prove them wrong again.
Alhamdulillah.
Santi enviou lá, agora não só tá.
Hayır, mashallah.
Hay si socotay odaygaan waa councilor mugti way ka masuula waxa loo wada hadlay waxa la email hanoo soo diro dadka markii email noo soo diro anaga baaki markaas ay follow up
Inshallah, hay hada.
marka sino la sanad
Alhamdulillah.
inaka waxa la kay maalmo loo darakay saddex ka hor meel asan ay ila soo arko so tiiskiga ma helin
هذا دوان هيرو. بس مركز إن شاء الله وصل وراد شغل مكرر إن شاء الله.
Are you going to be supporting me?
Yes, sport, yes.
Inshallah. Thank you very much.
Just a quick question, why do you think it's important to support Abdi?
Because I first time in Somali to fought in UK, then first I want to fight him. I'm not speaking federal, but I try to do.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
A lot of the British Somali councillors
Yes.
are part of Labour Party.
Yeah.
Why do you think that's the case?
I think it's a matter of a lot of Somalis came between that period of 97 to 2010 when there was a Labour government. I think the changes that Labour government made in terms of schools, education, you know, the NHS, all of those things benefited those people. But also, we had an immigration policy which was welcoming to immigrants and refugees from other countries. You see now with the Windrush policy, you see how the Tories are managing immigration. They're creating a very hostile environment for immigrants, and I think that wasn't the case when when the Labour Party was in government. Obviously, there were people who were racist. There's always going to be racists, but you wouldn't see it on headline news about people being deported for coming to this country 60 years ago. There wasn't that sort of the Labour Party wasn't creating a hostile environment for these immigrants.
You know, the Labour Party have always secured the votes of British Somalis. Why do you think that's the case, and do you think this is actually changing now?
It is. I think the Labour Party, generally with ethnic minorities, you see that vote is sometimes taken as, it's taken for granted. So they'll think, oh, this person's a Muslim, they'll vote for us, or they're Somali, they'll vote for us. And I'm changing that narrative. So I'm standing in a very non-Somali ward, in a borough that has a big Somali population. And there are other places that have big Somali population, but I'm not standing in those areas because at the end of the day, yes, I am Somali, I care about, my people. But for me, it's proving that I'm good as a candidate, not because of my background, but because of my abilities. And it's just about creating that society again that works for everyone. So yeah, the Labour Party, I think, is the best party for British Somalis. But then again, I don't have grievances against people who want to vote for other parties. I mean, there's all reasons why people vote for other parties. So
you do welcome the diversity in that case?
I do. I absolutely. I appreciate the diversity of colour, but also the diversity of opinion as well. So.
As you know, there are some British Somalis who are sort of campaigning in behalf of the Tory government and the Conservative Party, trying to recruit Somalis to vote for them. What's your thought on that?
Well, it's interesting because I encountered them when I was working for Uber last year. Our office, the Ealing Labour office, is based somewhere called South Acton, has a really, really big Somali population in the estate. And there was, I think, the Somali Youth for Tories, or Somali Tories, or Tories for Somalis, I don't know what they're called. Well, obviously canvassing them, we encounter each other all the time because in front of the Ealing Labour office is free maqahis, and what I do is I'd obviously, first day I got the job, took my vote Labour posters, stuck it on the windows, and they would get them to take it down and put a Tory one up, and I'd have to go across the road and get them to take it. So it was a good encounter, but then again, I mean, we've always, whenever we've encountered each other, we've always been very civil to each other, we're very understanding, and also, when you see another person who's a Somali, who's like, I don't know, your brother or your sister, that, regardless of what the ribbon, the colour of the ribbon on their shoulder, their clothes is, there's a bit of joy that you get out of it. But I obviously want a lot of them to be Labour and say, but I still appreciate it. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
How are you?
Fine.
How's everything?
Yeah,
good. Any problems?
No.
Good. Well, the election's on Thursday.
Yeah.
Do you know? Are you going to be supporting me for the election?
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. How are you? How's school? Good. You're 10 now, aren't you?
9.
You're 9? Oh, nearly getting to GCSE. Do you do some GCSE in year 9 now?
Yes.
You take some, don't you? Yeah. How's it going?
Good.
Are you studying?
Yeah.
That's good.
What's your name? Mohammed. Mohammed, why do you think it's important to see someone like Abdi standing up for local election? Do you think it's important to you as a young British Somali?
Yes. Yeah, it's helping all people.
Get closer.
Everyone.
Say that again?
It's helping everyone.
Right, and do you think you'd be interested in joining politics at some point?
Maybe.
Ah, good.
What sort of issues are you addressing in this campaign at the moment?
So we're campaigning on 5 major issues. One is obviously housing across the borough. 2 is Ealing Hospital, and Ealing Hospital, they've closed the paediatrics and maternity services, and we're trying to protect the A&E, but also the police stations. The Tories of the government have closed the front desks for 2 police stations in the borough. There's a 3rd one, they're trying to close it. But also like stuff like knife crime, which has gone up across the borough, and our last and most important one is obviously keeping us in the European Union. So we passed a motion at council, which was calling for a vote on the Brexit deal for residents.
Right.
So those are our main issues. How are you?
Fine.
How's everything?
Everything is fine.
Do you have any local issues, any concerns?
Somalis always, as you know,
said
we
that
are big families,
Yeah.
complaining about the houses.
Yeah. I'm one of 10, so.
Yeah, so
Only 10.
that will be our concerns mainly. On top of that, to tackle the generations, the younger generations crimes
Yeah, exactly.
is
Yeah.
raising up.
So one of the things I talk about a lot is obviously the answer to knife crimes isn't just police,
Yes.
but also opening up youth centres. If children or teenagers don't have anything to do after school, they're going to be in the park,
of course.
up to no good.
Yes.
So why do you think it's important to have someone like Abdi stand for local elections as a young Somali?
We Somali, as a Somali community, we have to have our, to our voices to be heard. within the community, within the the barrow. He can understand our problems.
Yeah.
He's a Somalis. Yeah, that's the reason.
So you have enough confidence in him in sort
Enough
of delivering.
confidence. I don't care which region he's from back home in Somalia. As long as he's Somali, I'm 100% fully, I'm happy even to see, even trying it.
And just one more question,
Yes.
would you ever consider voting for any other party other than Labour? Because traditionally British Somalis vote for Labour.
Yes.
Is that something that you would ever consider?
No, now, they have changed. Before they used, because, we have had the labor, they were good for families, for low income families, but now everything has changed. So whoever concerns our interests, our problems, we vote for them.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't care about labor or Lib Dem or Tories. Whoever listens to us, yeah, we vote for them.
Yeah.
Except Somalis is Somalis.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Abdi. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good luck. Good luck.
What's the likelihood of you winning actually, and how do you actually measure that? Measure the percentage of you,
So it's obviously it's really high. Interestingly, in a very marginal seat as well.
Right.
I mean, Labour have never won this seat. It was created in 1978. We've never won it before, but the likelihood is high. So what you do is there are around 10,000 voters in Ealing Common, and for local elections the turnout is normally 40%. So 40%, 10,000 is going to be 4,000. So what you aim to get is like 3,000 promises. So 3,000 people who promise you that they're going to be voting Labour. We've reached that target and passed it. And then on the day of polling day, what you do is you get these people out to come vote for you.
What is the sort of issues that he addressed or he
So
talked about?
he's concerned about the pavement and the state of parking across this area. So this is like one of the sort of working class areas of the ward, and it's a matter of, because you've got two Tory councils, one Lib Dem, and it's a Labour council. Like the three councils won't want to speak to the Labour council, because like if the Labour council change this, they'll be like, oh, we're giving Labour a victory. So they'd rather not report it, and that's what we're getting from a lot of residents telling us, that a lot of their concerns aren't being reported to the council.
And if you do get elected, do you think you could actually sort this issue?
Yeah, no, 100%. Committed to the job. I know the cabinet members who are in charge of it, so it's a matter of, committed to the job, getting it done. Not looking at politics, but looking at just changing people's lives.